Hi everyone, my name is Yara Atake. This is a presentation for Advanced Marketing Management, Thompson University, and my topic is Guaranty Trust Bank Ghana Limited's response to COVID-19. So GTBank Ghana, with its parent bank headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria, the brand currently is present in 9 African countries and then in the UK. And it was registered in Ghana in 2004, but then they got a license to operate in February of 2006, currently having 33 branches. Now, a small country like Ghana with a population of 32 million, um, you'll be surprised that we have 32 commercial banks. And so GT Bank on entry differentiated itself as an industry leader in digital and electronic banking, and then also the the top banks in terms of return on assets, return on equity, and then in terms of cost to capital ratios and other parameters. Okay, so after the COVID was discovered in Wuhan, China in December 2019, GT Bank on March 17th and on all their social media platforms started sensitizing customers and the general public about the pandemic and then what one can do to protect themselves based on the recommendation from World Health Organization. Now, basically, this pandemic was new to everyone, so everyone was clueless, and so that was one of the smartest things the bank did initially when COVID was first identified. So I use a SWOT analysis in analyzing the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and threats present to GT Bank Ghana. Um, and then the opportunities available for GT Bank Ghana were enormous. They had the opportunity to now popularize their digital platforms that they had in place that were not so popular. They also had the opportunity to also take advantage of initiatives implemented by the government and actually use that as a corporate social responsibility to create a good image for the brand. They also had the opportunity to also take advantage of certain growth sectors in the Ghanaian economy that were booming as a result of COVID-19. So GTBank Ghana has been a market leader in terms of digital and electronic products. In terms of return on assets, return on equity, and other parameters, the bank has been a fierce challenger in the industry, um, competing with most of the top banks in that regard. But then COVID-19 helped the bank to actually advertise most of their products that were already in place but were not so popular. Like for instance, my GHP, which is an integrated platform for customers and non-customers alike to make payments for their bills, airline tickets, also to shop, um, and to do all sorts of things. There was also the gaps, which was not so popular before, because the gaps you could actually, for any business account, you could make payments for your salary from your office. You don't have to send an instruction physically to the bank. You could also pay for your shipments and stuff on the app without going to the port and paying cash. And then the ATMs were also popular, but then they were popular for withdrawals, but not for deposits. So the onset of COVID actually brought awareness to the fact that these ATM could actually really accept deposits and people started patronizing it. So the bank actually leveraged on COVID-19 to advertise more of its digital products that were already in place. It was like they kind of foresaw that this was going to happen. And so, yes, it was an opportunity for them to sell their products. Okay, so the bank actually followed what the top banks were doing in terms of staff rotations. Staff were split into A and B, where A works for 2 weeks, and then the following 2 weeks B would work. And the whole idea was the fact that if someone is exposed to COVID in the 2 weeks they are working, they have 2 weeks to actually be home and recover. Queues were rather formed outside the bank than inside. um, Soap, water, hand sanitizers were provided outside the banking halls. It was mandatory to actually wash your hand and sanitize. Masks were also provided for those who didn't have masks. And customers were also encouraged to use all the digital platforms. And the bank actually also invested in platforms or in applications for the staff to ensure that the transactions were more paperless, so you don't have to actually exchange stuff with your colleagues when you're working. So far as the transactions are initiated on the system, you can just review the transaction from your computer. And those were some of the internal things that the bank did, actually copied, but actually worked for the bank as well. So in conclusion, COVID-19 was a global phenomenon, and at the time it was happening, everyone was clueless. For a brand like GTBank that's a market leader in terms of digital and electronic products, and then a market challenger in other aspects, you would have expected that they would send the right kind of message to people. The fact that they love to take risk and take initiatives, then they felt comfortable following what others were doing. And for some reason, it worked because people, there were far more important things for people to worry about, death and stuff. They overlooked a lot of things. So they were able to get away with it. But then, if you look at it critically, it was sending a wrong kind of message about the brand. So I would recommend that the bank in the future should make sure that they stick to being a market leader and a challenger rather than taking a follower approach, because that would help it to clearly differentiate its brand from other brands, and that would send a consistent message for the brand across board. So thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.